8 Areas of Sanitation, presented by David L.A. Rosson from 123foodhandler.com. This training presentation was developed specifically to assist seafood and juice processors meet the regulatory requirements of, in the case of juice processors, 21 CFR 120. In the case of those processing fish or fishery products, 21 CFR 123. Each of those has the 8 areas of sanitation. So what is a processor? Well, according to 21 CFR 123.3, L and 21 CFR 123K, a processor means any person engaged in commercial, custom, or institutional processing, either in the United States or in a foreign country. Processing includes any person engaged in the production of foods that are used in market or consumer tests. So the 8 areas of sanitation are highlighted in the regulation for juice processors, section 120.6, and they're called Sanitation Standard Operating Procedures, or SSOPs. And for fish and fishery products, they're found in 123.11, and they're called Sanitation Control Procedures, or SCPs. So what are the 8 areas of sanitation? Let's take a look. Area number 1, safety of water that comes into contact with food or food contact surfaces, or that is used in the manufacture of ice. Area number 2, condition and cleanliness of food contact surfaces, including utensils, gloves, and outer garments. Area number 3, prevention of cross-contamination from insanitary objects to food, food packaging material, and other food contact surfaces, again, including utensils, gloves, and outer garments, as well as from raw product to processed product. Area number 4, maintenance of hand washing, hand sanitizing, and toilet facilities. Area number 5, protection of the food, protection of the food packaging material, and protection of the food contact surfaces from adulteration. Examples given: lubricants, fuel, cleaning compounds, sanitizing agents, condensate, and other chemical, physical, and biological contaminants. Area number 6, proper labeling, storage, and use of toxic compounds. Area number 7, control of employee health conditions that could result in the microbiological contamination of food, food packaging materials, and food contact surfaces, as well as area number 8, exclusion of pests from the food plant, the 8 areas of sanitation required for juice and seafood processing facilities. Juice and fish and fishery products are required to, or these processors shall monitor the conditions and practices during processing with sufficient frequency to ensure at a minimum conformance with those conditions and practices specified in Part 110 of this chapter and in Subpart B of Part 117 of this chapter, that are appropriate both to the plant and to the food being processed. Each processor shall correct in a timely manner those conditions and practices that are not met. In order to meet the requirements of 21 CFR 120 and 123, the 8 areas of sanitation are required to comply with the Current Good Manufacturing Practices Regulation, or CGMP Regulation, 21 CFR 117, Subpart B. As of September 17, 2018, all juice and fish and fishery product processors are required to be in compliance with 21 CFR 117 subpart B. It was at that time that 21 CFR 117 subpart B replaced 21 CFR 110. 21 CFR 117 subpart B covers people and the environment. The 8 areas of sanitation are required to be in compliance with 21 CFR 117 subpart B. You see, your products are products of your environment. So what is your environment? Well, it's the setting or conditions in which a particular action is carried out. In your case, processing is carried out in this environment. Processing of your products. What is a product? A product is a thing or a person that is the result of an action or a process. Your products are products of your environment. 21 CFR 117 subpart B covers people and the environment. The 8 areas of sanitation are required to be in compliance with 21 CFR 117 subpart B. Processors are required to monitor the 8 areas of sanitation. Processors are required to correct any deficiencies found during monitoring of the 8 areas of sanitation. Processors are required to document the monitoring and corrections of the 8 areas of sanitation. All right, let's take a look at these 8 areas. I keep telling you the 8 areas have to be in compliance with GMP, so I've laid out some examples for you here. So safety of water, 21 CFR 120.6A1 and 21 CFR 123.11B1 requires the water safe. The water has to also be in compliance with 117. Here's some examples in 117 where we're going to need to make sure the water is safe. Our water supply, 117.37A. Our plumbing, 137B, 3, and 5. And our processed water, covered in 117.81, A1, and 117.80C, 16. This is not an all-inclusive list. You'll need to go through 117 and find out if there's any other areas. All right, condition and cleanliness covered in 21 CFR 120.6A2 and covered in 21 CFR 123.11B2 states that we have to maintain and manage the condition and cleanliness of food contact surfaces. As you can see again, I've done a research for you at 117 and found that there is sanitation food contact surfaces, an area where we need to be of concern, food contact surfaces, equipment, and or utensils, several areas of concern, as well as during processes and controls, areas of concern. So what I want you to do is go and create a checklist going through 117 and looking for all the areas where food contact surfaces and the condition and cleanliness is mentioned. Prevention of cross-contamination, 21 CFR 120.6A3, 21 CFR 123.11B3. Prevent cross-contamination from our personnel, from the plant, construction and design, and there are other areas. Again, this is not an all-inclusive list. So you'll need to go back through 117, subpart B, find any area in which affects your facility where cross-contamination might happen, monitor that area, correct those areas, document in my 8 areas of sanitation. You'll be doing great. So let's take a look at area number 4, maintenance of hand washing, hand sanitizing, and toilet facilities, covered in 21 CFR 120.6A4 and 21 CFR 123.11B4. So covered, looked for a couple areas for you here. Found some plumbing areas where we got to make sure we're properly conveying sewage, make sure that the Plumbing must not be backflowing or have cross connections where we have contaminated water in the hand washing, sanitizing areas. Looking specifically at the toilet facilities and hand wash facilities, what's required there. 117.37, a lot of stuff there. There's a big one here, protection from adulterants, covered in 21 CFR 120.6A5 and 21 CFR 123.11B5. Got to protect the food contact surfaces, food packing material from adulterants, biological, chemical, physical adulterants. So we got to look at our personnel cleanliness, our plant construction and design, sanitation of food contact surfaces. And like I said, a lot of stuff here. Carry this on a little bit more. We've got to consider our protection of adulterants from our equipment and utensils, and during processing. So during processing, we also want to make sure we're mindful of the transfer of allergenic proteins. A lot of talk about that in this area. The transfer of allergenic proteins. What is that? Cross contact. You'll see that over and over. Cross contact. Prevent cross contact. That's a chemical thing. So make sure you're also looking at biological and physical during processing. Area number 5, protection from adulterants. That's everything. All right, area number 6, proper labeling, storage, and use of toxic compounds. Found in 21 CFR 120.6A6, 21 CFR 123.11B6. Remember, that has to be in compliance with 117. A couple examples for you. 117.35B2, identification and storage of toxic chemicals, and 117.35C, use of pesticides, covered there. So again, I'm going through these 8 areas, just showing you how I can look at 117 and find the areas where the specific 8 areas covered. And I need to make sure that I've got that managed. Document that, monitor that, correct that. Therefore, I'd be in compliance. All right, area number 7, making our way through this 8 areas of sanitation, seeing how we were looking at 117, making sure that we're covering the area of 117, documenting it and monitoring and managing it through our requirements of 120 and 123. So area number 7, control of employee health conditions, covered in 120.6A7 and 123.11B7. And you can see here 117.10A talks about disease control. And last but not least, number 8, exclusion of pests from the plant or the facility. Exclusion of pests is covered in 120.6A8 and 123.11B8. And again, we need to look at 117, see where pests are mentioned, make sure we're managing that. I've highlighted one for you here. 117.35C covers pest control. Check it out. In order to meet the requirements of 120 and 123 of Title 21, the 8 areas of sanitation are required to comply with the current good manufacturing practice regulation, 21 CFR 117 subpart B. I just went through 117, highlighted a few areas that cover the 8 areas. Your job is going to make sure you're monitoring those areas, managing those areas, document the monitoring and management of those areas. So when a regulator comes in or auditor comes in, you'll be in compliance. Don't forget, we're all products of our environment, but your products are products of their environment or your environment. So, what is the environment? I want to remind you again, it's a setting or conditions in which a particular action is carried out. And product is a thing or person that is a result of an action or process. I'm a product of an action that my parents did, okay? And your products are a thing as a result of a process. So be mindful of the environment where your products are processed. All right, great job. This completes your training in the 8 areas of sanitation. Please complete the small quiz, review all attachments. Thanks for choosing 123 Food Handler.